What's going on, guys? Thanks for stopping by for another episode of Talk About Transformers. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you haven't been here before, thanks for checking us out. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Legacy Deluxe Class Prime Universe Arcee figure. To get started here, we'll go ahead and take a look at the boxing. Starting from the top, if we can see the top, we'll go up to the top. There's the top. You've got Ages 8 Plus Takara Tomy Transformers Generations line. You've got Transformers down your side here. You've got Prime Universe Arcee there. There's Hasbro down in your corner. Transformers Legacy logo with box art of Arcee in her motorcycle mode with that neon color splash that Legacy's boxes have. Really digging these boxes. Looks really nice. There you've got Deluxe Class in English plus 3 other languages. And turning to the side, you've got your Legacy logo again with Transformers Authentic. Being a Deluxe Class, oh no, see, the artwork doesn't even matter. I thought the artwork might change depending on the size class, but this is the same one that was on Bulkheads, where you've got Bulkhead, Blaster, Arcee, Hot Rod, and Prime. So maybe it's Autobot and Decepticon oriented. I haven't been paying that much attention. On this side of the box, you've got a image of Arcee in her robot mode, inspired by her look from Prime. Close up of her face, up in this little angled corner here. The top of the box just has your Legacy logo again. The inside of the box, not that we've really looked at them before, has got the instructions that I've never used and the cardboard cutout she came plugged into. And then the bottom of the box, there's your barcode. There's all of your words and warnings and such, and that's pretty much it for the box. So we'll come back down here and take a look at the figure itself. Whoop. Alrighty, now you have Transformers Prime Universe Arcee in her motorcycle mode, and I actually really like this motorcycle. I think that it looks really good for what it is. Go ahead and dang it, bumping my mic now. Backup mic, there you go. And so it looks pretty good. She's got her front waist panel up there, but I mean there's like a molded in gas cap and stuff. This is the seat, and this is your back bit there, whatever you want to, I don't know, motorcycles. It's basically like the back bumper of the motorcycle where a spoiler would go if it was a car. The side looks real cohesive. You've got a little kickstand here that you can fold up as far as you want in one direction, and down as far as you want in one direction, and then it'll stop at the perfect spot to angle it on the ground, and it'll stop up there if you don't feel like stopping it in the middle. And she'll lean on it mostly. This being a shifty surface isn't the best surface to lean it on. You can go ahead and come around. We'll take a look at the looking stuff. There she is from the front. She's got transparent blue plastic. I think this whole piece is transparent blue. And you've got black painted in, you've got blue painted on, you've got black paint here. This gray for the handle is a separate piece. I know this one has come off enough times, we'll see that later. I didn't glue it in yet because I want to show you what they are out of the box for the most part. You've got black paint here with a little bit of yellow for the turn signal on the front. And then coming down this way, the tire has a blue paint circle here on the rim with silver in the middle. Same thing on this side. Coming down the side of the motorcycle, this is all painted blue because it is black plastic. I don't know if they just wanted it to match up with this, so they decided to mold it in black and paint it blue, or if it just needed to be black, but it's black painted blue. You've got some gray standing out here on the legs, and I believe that is a different molded piece there, but I'll confirm or deny that when we get to transformation. You've got the pink stripe there on the bottom, just looks like some detail. Silver for her kneecaps. Again, it just kind of looks like the edge of the bike. It swoops down in a pretty cohesive way. On this side, you've got blast port, no exhaust pipe, but the back tire does have the blue stripe painted in. No silver in the middle, sadly. You can kind of see the molded details for like the gear and, you know, the drive chain would go over it, things like that. There's also a little pink stripe back here on her wrist area. We looked at the top, but there it is again. Here she is from the bottom. She has the visible head syndrome, and then on this side you've got the molded in exhaust pipe, and that's some other molded detail down here, just to differentiate this side of the mechanism is where, you know, it's all connected and things like that. It looks like that could be a brake maybe. Like I said, don't do vehicles, don't quote me on vehicles, just going by what I see. Here she is in her motorcycle mode, and articulation wise, she can do the rolling that vehicles with wheels are wont to roll, but because this is technically a separate piece, you can also do this swivel here at the front for your steering purposes. So that's actually kind of cool. And I also don't mind that it's parts forming, because one, you don't have to at all if you don't want to, and two, it's kind of an accessory, which we'll go over later. So it's almost like weapons parts forming, which is the type of parts forming I will always forgive if it becomes a cohesive part of the vehicle mode. If you're just slapping a weapon on something, I don't care for that too much, unless it makes sense, like it's a space vehicle, like some of the Prime or the Bumblebee movie characters I'll have coming up in future reviews. They've got guns slapped on their roofs, and I think that I'm okay with it because they're in like a war zone. They're not civilians at that point. Speaking of accessories though, she does come with some transparent blue accessories here. It is like a little shield thing, given me with the star in the middle. It just, I know it's not the right shape and stuff, but it's just like Cap's shield from, you know, Marvel. Is the vibes I get because he had a motorcycle, and then there's the circular shield with the star shape. But this is actually two different bladed weapons here. They each are the same molded component, and they each have a peg and a port, and they come together to form a circle. You've also got two ports here, one on each half, and then two halves of a peg that come together to form pretty much a whole peg there in the middle. And the official way to store these, as far as I know, as far as I watched Dr. Lockdown complain, is to stick them up here on the seat. Now, my brother did come up with an alternative storage method before I got a hold of the figure, so I'll go ahead and mention that. Slide the arm panels back a little bit, so that way it's like it's going into robot mode, and then you're going to tilt the hands down a little bit, and then go ahead and plug the blades into the hands here, and they become almost like saddlebag like looking there for your bike mode. So if you want to do that with it, you can. There it is from the front, there it is from the back side, and that's not a bad look for it at all. Me personally, myself and I will just store it here, line it up with the exhaust pipe on this side, and then take the other side and try and match it up with the first side back here, and that's how I'll do it. I'll go ahead and straighten her hands out and pull her panels back forward, or backwards I should say, forward on her arm for robot mode. And so I just kind of store them on the side there. I like how it flows with the shape of the gas pipe and things like that, especially on this side. It's aesthetically pleasing to me, even if it does jut out straight out to the side instead of being kind of angled down a little bit. And that's pretty much it for her vehicle mode. On the camera still, but that's okay, not as much as before. It's pretty much it for her vehicle mode, so we'll go ahead and take a quick look at some size comparisons and get down to transformation. Starting off with our core class size comparison, here's the Kingdom core class Starscream figure. Here she is with the Legend Scale Optimus Prime. For your Legend Scale Prime Jr. For your Deluxe class size comparison, here she is with Autobot JP93. For Voyager scale comparison, here she is with the Legacy Voyager class Prime Universe Bulkhead, her Prime Universe pal that also got the Generations treatment. Something I missed on my review of him real quick is in robot mode. If you want to, you can store weapons in the chest area just by getting them up in there in a way that they won't fall out or rattle around. I didn't care for it too much, but my brother did mention it as a possibility, and then I forgot to mention it to you. So, and as one of our famous YouTube friends says, options are good. And lastly but not leastly, here she is with your leader class size comparison, the Studio Series 86 leader class Grimlock figure. Alrighty, to begin Arcee's transformation, I'm going to go ahead and take both of these weapons off, and I'm just going to combine them into shield form and put them off to the front here, and we'll get started on transformation. We're going to go ahead and disconnect the back tire. Forgive my lack of fingernails, this might take me a second. I have to cut them for work, or else I'll break them off. Alright, so we got the back tire disconnected. We're going to go ahead and disconnect these side panels here. So there is a L/T shaped tab here and just a regular tab here, and they plug into this hole and this slot respectively. Go ahead and fold it all the way over. You can see the black plastic is molded in. Nice details molded on the underside, because that's what you'll see for robot mode. Go ahead and disconnect this side and fold it away also. Then you can take the entire back section here and fold it all the way around so that it sits on the front on both sides, and then you've got more molded detail on the inside here. The inside of the tires don't look too great with this stuff stamped in here, and it could use some paint, but it's not terrible looking as far as molded stuff goes. And you've got two pegs and a port on this one, and you've got two ports and a peg on the other tire, and you just line them up and sandwich them together, and that's how those will connect. Then the legs aren't pegged in otherwise, so we can just move them out to the side. But first, let's go ahead and angle up the front of the vehicle, move the legs out to the side, and fold them out at this hinge, which is going to be the knee. Just straighten them out here, and then we'll go ahead, and there's a tab on this gray section that plugs into this gray strut here. So we're going to untab it and fold the leg in until the knee plugs into place. You've got a tab and slot here. Let me see if I can focus on this. There. I'm pretty sure there's a tablet slot holding this all into place, but I'm not seeing it. Ah, there we go. There's a little tab here on her actual knee, and the one side in here has a space for it to sit in. So you're just going to fold it until it sort of pegs into place there. Oh, nope, that's not how it plugs in. Well, either way, it tabs in somehow. This one doesn't want to go now all of a sudden because I lied to you guys and it's punishing me. What is going on here? Okay, you don't want to go there. It went in its home. And I figured out how it goes in its home, so we'll open it back up. There's a tab here on the lighter gray piece, and it hooks over into this gap formed by folding this piece around. So that's how the leg comes together in there. Anyway, now that we spent way too much time on the knees, we'll go ahead and fold out the feet. Just fold out the toes on both sides. so we can get our legs all the way done. And then we're going to fold this entire assembly up here, fold the waist piece around to the other side, and then bring the legs in, and we'll go ahead and rotate it around 180 degrees, and her legs are all done. We'll separate the arms. There is a tab and a tab, and they sandwich together, and that's how they hold on to each other, as well as a tab here on the bicep area that will fit into this groove. Stop focusing on the leg. There we go. That groove right there. So we'll bring the arms up and bring the waist down. The shoulders have these little tabs molded in up here, and you're going to make sure that they click up behind there, so you can hear that snap hopefully. And then the waist is also going to kind of snap into place like so. Then we'll go ahead and bring the camera up. She's standing. Fantastic. Bring the camera up. We'll rotate the arms forward. Slide the panels back. There's a little bump here that kind of holds it into place, so you're just going to friction it onto that. Put our arms down, and then we'll get the backpack going. We'll show you how it's supposed to be for the more prime look where it's just hanging off, and then we'll show you what else you can do with it when we get to the accessories section. So what we're going to do here is we're going to fold it back, rotate it around. You can do what you want with the tire. You can turn it sideways, you can rotate it all the way around, you can leave it where it was. I'll go ahead and turn it sideways for now. And then there's a series of hinges in here that we are going to accordion in. This section right here is going to actually go into the hollow space of her back, and the rest of it just kind of nestles in for good measure. And that's what her backpack looks like. She is all the way on the ground. That's what her backpack looks like if you leave it all together without doing any kind of accessory / weapon parts forming. And it is the traditional prime Arcee back with the tire just hanging down. And then this panel right here is the one that likes to come off. I'm surprised that it didn't during transformation, so I'm just going to dab some glue on the tab and tab it in, and it will stay in there forever. But I wanted to show you guys, I don't know if it's supposed to be glued and mine just didn't get it, or if they are all like that. And then this panel down here kind of angles it at the perfect angle for the wings to be in the right angle, but they do kind of sit a little low for my taste. And there you've got Arcee in her robot mode. We'll go ahead and zoom in here and take a look at the paint real quick. So there you've got the paint. Hold on a second, guys. I forgot to do something. We'll zoom back out here at taste, and we'll get the camera oriented properly so that way we can see the whole thing, and then we'll go ahead and do the zooming for the details. And there, now she's front and center, so we can go ahead and zoom in and raise up just so we know where to come back down to when we zoom back out. And there she is with her head sculpt. It looks to be blue plastic with blue light piping, and I don't have an alternative light source to shine behind her head, as always. But you've got silver paint on the face, and you've got pink accent paint on the sides, and the little crest in the middle looks pretty good. The color they chose was pretty good. Silver paint on the blue chest with the red Autobot symbol there in the middle. You've got just different colors in the arm. You know, I like my color breakup so it doesn't look too boring. Then you've got the blue with a little bit of pink, and then black hands. Nice silver section here in the middle of the chest, again for some of that color breakup. Black legs, blue shins with silver kneecaps, plus more of that pink paint there to pick out some details on the legs. And then you've got the feet, which are black in the front and gray in the back. My only real issue with the design is these tires. It's not a major thing like Galaxy Force / Cybertron Ransack did something real similar, and I used to love that toy, so I can forgive this for sure. Oh, I'm gonna fold her little kickstand in there against the strut. Did not do that transformation. You don't have to, but you can. But yeah, Ransack did it, and I used to love him, so I can give her a pass on it. I just wish they had done something more like the Rid version, not the first edition. I like the way the Rid legs work, where the tire split in half into two halves of a tire the other way, like ripping a donut in half, and each half stuck out the back of the leg to make it look like there was like a whole tire in there. I think that worked a lot better. Coming up from the side, you've got the molded in tire there, the entire tire, but it's half a tire. And there you've got her backpack jutting out, you can see. And then, like I said earlier, lots of cool details on the wings, nothing picked on in paint. Here she is from the back. It's just the weird, creepy eyeball lights in the tire. And then the legs are hollow, but they're filled in by those struts that we used earlier a little bit. So, and you know, it looks a little better than just blank legs. And then there are his heels down here. And so it doesn't look too bad. You've got this nice red product code there on the back of her leg. She's hiding that tattoo real good. But that's pretty much it for the details. Now that my brain remembered how to work, go ahead and look at some articulation. She has a ball jointed head, so she can look up pretty darn far, actually. That's a great range upwards. And then she can look down a pretty decent amount. Not a lot of tilt there on that head sculpt, and it's very tight, but it will. 360. Haven't really turned her head much, so that's probably the first full 360 turn that her head's gone through, and it's very tight. Here at the shoulders, we've got a full 360 on the universal, about 90 degrees out, which actually isn't as far as it can go, but because of the shoulder detail bumping into the chest, it goes out a little farther when you transform her, actually. We've got the 360 here at the bicep swivel. You've got 90-degree elbow bends. Now I'm gonna have to like hold her weird and sideways because she's got pretty tiny hands, but there is a wrist swivel, which I did talk about briefly to show off the weapon storage that my brother decided to use. That's it for her torso articulation. So we're gonna go ahead and rotate back down and take a look at the waist. This section did spin for transformation, and it does ever so slightly rotate here, but it will kind of come unpegged if you go too far. So a little bit of waist swivel, not a lot. This thing can move down if you want to for whatever reason. The hips are universals. I'm going to move the backpack out of the way for now, so they will go back as far as they can before running into the backpack. She can kick all the way forward like that, and then you've got your beautiful outward movement there. There is a thigh swivel on a mushroom peg in there, and it gets you a decent range for the knees. If you don't unplug them like I did, you can get about 90 degrees, a little less. And then for the feet themselves, the toes transform so they can bend up and they can bend down. And then you do have ankle tilts for a great range. And that's about it for posability. We'll go ahead and zoom back out here and get her on the camera, kind of straighten her out a little bit, and we'll show off some accessories before we get into our size comparisons. So we can bring back in, bumping the camera still, I thought I got rid of that issue, but I'm never going to escape it, am I? We can bring her shield back in. You can separate it and then plug the blades onto her arms. I don't think they look good as blades. but you would just plug them in like this. So imagine they're in all the way, and she can slash people with her slash blades, hashtag / tag blades. But I don't like that, so I'm just going to leave them together, and I make her a nice little shield here. And I do have the laser prime and skids and bulkhead from wave 1, and I managed, bulkhead's got his own weapon storage down as you saw in his review. But for Arcee and skids, instead of storing the weapons on the motorcycle, I made them all fit inside of Laser Prime's tanker trailer, plus the gun from my Earthrise Netflix Prime, so he has an ion blaster too. All of that I made fit in the trailer, and I'll detail that when I go through his review. So when I have them all rolled out together, she has her shield on her arm and she mans the turret that his trailer becomes. Skids has his weapons. Prime has a plethora of weapons, so she doesn't feel bad that she doesn't have a gun. Her other accessory, though, you can take this wheel off, and we'll put her back here for a minute and show off the wheel. This wheel also separates in the middle, and you fold these out and it becomes like a little drone guy. Got a little face looking thing there, and so you can fly this drone around. You could attach a gun to it. 1 second, hold please. Let's see if this works the way I think it's gonna work. This way. So if you wanted to, you can have Skids toss her one of his guns, and you could hook it under here, and it could fly around shooting Skids' gun. So, you know, the play value, you can just kind of do a bunch of fun stuff with it. Anything that has a peg hole could go on here. She could throw her shield up and you could attach it to it, and she could have it go down the battlefield, and someone else could get a hold of it so they can defend themselves. It's got a lot of versatility to it, but the thing I like most about it is that you can take her backpack and fold it down, and you've got another peg right there, and take that peg and plug these in here, then get your backpack mushed back up there, and that just looks better to me as a robot. There's no wheel hanging down. She's just got the motorcycle backpack going on there, and she's got these nice shoulder things. From one review I watched on this, which was, again, I believe Dr. Lockdown's, he said that this was so it could be repainted as another character, and I'm okay with that, because I think that she looks pretty good with those up there. So go ahead and repaint her all you want. I'm just happy for the functionality, to be honest. But there she is in robot mode. We'll go ahead and get her posed up and take a look at some size comparisons there. Alrighty, there she is with Core Class Rat Trap, with Legends-ish scale Megatron, with Deluxe sized Voyager class Hot Rod, with Voyager class Voyager sized Cyclonus, and with the Studio Series Leader class Dirty Blackout figure. And there you have her with her accessories, and she's blue and has a flying drone that can mount on her shoulder. Why didn't anyone tell me it was gender bent Soundwave? All jokes aside, we'll go ahead and take a look at my cons and pros. Con is that it's not 100% faithful to Prime, but I was talking to someone about it yesterday, and I realized that me complaining that this doesn't look exactly like Prime is like people complaining that the Transformer live action films don't look exactly like G1, barring Bumblebee movie, which is pretty close, and I enjoy those designs, so I'm also going to enjoy these designs for what they are, without being overly hypocritical, I hope, because I just realized that I had been. That notwithstanding, as a con, I don't like the wheels on the sides of the legs. that much. It does bother me a little bit. I don't like the tire sticking out on the backpack, but that is less of a con than it could have been because you can do stuff with it. I don't like the waist articulation not being so great, but at least she has a little bit, being a cycle former and the way her waist is engineered in the first place, she could have very well had none. Pros, I like the color scheme and the paint job they went for. All Hasbro figures could use more paint in more areas, but I think that it's got a nice bit of color breakup, and I like that they used the pink paint in multiple places. So she's got some on her face and each limb in little spots, so it's very cohesive. She just needed a little bit on her chest. Maybe, I don't even know if this is accurate to the character, but they could have painted a little bit on these little shoulder pads. There's some molded detail there that I think if they had painted that part, the pink, somewhere on her chest, painted pink, it would have really drawn it all together. I digress. I'm not going to complain about her accessories. I know that the blades don't look like they did in the show, but I don't use them as blades, I use them as a shield mostly. So she's got a shield, her and Bulkhead both have shields. I like that her front tire has that drone functionality kind of built in, and so that it makes it a weapon / accessory, so I can parts form it onto the back the way I prefer. And I think that the motorcycle looks really good, no complaints with that mode at all. And I think that the transformation is actually really fun to do. I sit there and swap it back and forth a lot. When I'm just sitting there doing stuff, then my hands need something to do. And that front part of the motorcycle falling off is not a con, because I'm going to fix that myself. It actually popped off while I was getting her ready to be for the size comparison, so it happened off camera kind of, but it did happen where it popped off, so managed to avoid it in the video, but did not avoid it entirely. And that's about it for Transformers Prime Arcee. I was originally going to skip this figure, like I was most of the Legacy lineup, but I'm actually really happy that I have it, because it is a fun motorcycle transformer. And the only real con I have is those tires on the legs, and they don't look that bad. They don't look bad. They're just kind of distracting to me. Especially the biggest issue I have, I think, with them is that the rest of it is so, aerodynamic, and it looks very sleek and slender like it should, and then you've just got wheels clamped on the side of the legs. So it's a little, it lacks grace, I should say. It lacks grace. I think they could have done something better with that. Given the way the legs transform, it might have added a few more parts to have them rotate around or something, but I think it could have been handled a little better with a little bit more grace. But from the kneecaps up, I don't think I have any issues with the figure. That's about it for me. Excuse me. Go ahead and check out my playlist if you are so inclined. Go ahead and check out my social media accounts. Mostly I just post when I'm gonna have a review out, if I don't mess up my schedule like I did with Bulkhead. And that's pretty much all I have to say. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and throw me a like. If you enjoy my channel, go ahead and give it a subscribe, and go ahead and comment your thoughts on this figure in the comments section below. Were you surprised by it? Did you pick it up and hate it exactly as much as you thought as you would? That sounded like real good English there. Did you pick it up and hate it as much as you thought you would? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next episode of Talk About Transformers. And we got a camera bump just for the leaves. That's real good.